Okay, so here's the situation. I just decided I'm going to start videotaping my YouTuber vlogger experience on trying to get set up, the struggle, the challenges, all that kind of stuff. So I just got done with an impromptu brainstorming session with my wife. We're talking about what's my video going to look like when I want to talk about a mindset reframing concept, like importance, for example. It's a very big topic for me. I created a video on it. I put together a script. I set it up to where it looks like people can't really notice I'm reading from a script from my computer. I'm scrolling it with my mouse in my hand where it's out of view and all this other kind of stuff. I knew that I had to get something put together, even if it was terrible. I just had to get something started. So I did it. I sent it out on private link to a couple of friends, and they thought my concept, the idea, blah, 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 was great, but you know, even friends are not going to give you the full scoop. Like, it's junk, man. You got to throw it in the trash. But I knew it was. But still, I knew it was more important for me to get something done and to kind of get it out there. I noticed some things about my speaking style. I noticed that my eyes weren't opening all the way. So all kinds of stuff. And then we're talking about, you know, should I be out walking in a park, sitting down, kind of like one of a YouTuber that I like watching. His channel is called Retire and Go. He talks about retirement, finance, investing, and how he travels around the world and lives off his dividends and interest and all that. Great, love it, love it, love it. So I thought maybe I'd kind of adopt his style. I'd be out walking around along the beach, someplace nice, stopping and just talking. Okay, well, then I was thinking some of my concepts get a little abstract, so I'm going to need some kind of visuals, like use an explainer video or something like that, with some little animated diagrams or something. Because when I've talked to other people throughout my life about these, a lot of times I'd have a piece of paper and scratch out a little couple visual things like arrows and, you know, key words and things to help anchor it in more deeply when I was talking to somebody, and it helped a lot. And then we're thinking about how much work that was going to be. Not a lot of work, but really it's the end video and how it's going to connect best to the audience. So I can't think about how much work it's going to take from my end. I need to find out exactly what kind of video is going to be the absolute best for the audience, and then after I come up with that, then I could work backwards and see if I could work on my workflow process, you know, all that other kind of stuff. So don't think about making it easier or simplifying the process even before you figure out on what exactly is going to be the best thing to publish on YouTube for your audience. So I thought about that. Then I was thinking about, so we were out last night, we went to go grab a pizza, and I ended up talking to one of the waiters. He spoke pretty good English. So I asked him if he was a student, if he's studying, and he told me, yeah, he's studying logistics. And then he mentioned that he also wanted to start a small business, like a clothing line. So I go, oh, small business. I love talking about small business, and I love giving people ideas and tips. And he started describing what his t-shirts were going to be like. It's going to be for the Vietnamese youth, and it's going to be like a, what was it? What do you say? Kind of an vintage look, but with a fresher. He said, just imagine you go to a secondhand store and buy some cool t-shirts or clothes, and you kind of make your new clothing line look kind of like that, but freshen it up a little bit, blah, 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 blah. So I asked him, what's your brand going to be about? How are people going to feel? What are people going to think about when they're connected to your brand? Whether they're connected to your brand through wearing your branded clothing and all this other kind of stuff. So I went into that conversation with him. How are people going to feel? What's your brand going to represent? And how are you going to communicate what your brand represents to your potential customers? Who are you going to target? All that kind of stuff. And I said, you know, are they going to feel inspired? Are they going to feel like they don't want to follow the pack? They want to do something different? Are they going to feel more individualized, more artistic? You know, all that kind of stuff. So as I started getting into that conversation with him, he started thinking differently. So that gave my wife an idea that why don't I just start recording every conversation I have with people, because I always go into this question mode and trying to get a little framework for what they're thinking, what they're going through, and what they're currently working on mentally or whatever, because I love to give tips and ideas. And she goes, capture that. That's real life, that's spontaneous. It's not something that's prepared. She says this is something that YouTuber or, you know, people that watch YouTube want to see more of, kind of off the cuff, not prepared. And I started thinking about it for a little while, and I'm like, okay, I love talking to people. I go out and talk to a lot of people, but I'm going to be videotaping so much of nothing. So then today I came up with the idea, as we were brainstorming a little bit, brainstorming / mixing it with a little bickering back and forth. Always happens, no big deal. We got over it. So then I'm thinking, okay, why don't I come up with 20 different topic areas? It could be leadership, it could be business, it could be marketing, it could be, you know, how to think with more clarity, how to make decisions better. I mean, I got such a crazy range of topics to talk about. I said, why don't I just put 20 different core topics on my phone and just show people when I walk up to them, hey, are you interested in talking about any of these items? She goes, no, that's too prepared. Now you're making them feel stuck within a certain list of things. What if they want to talk about something else? And then I said, well, they don't have to talk about that. That's just to get the thing started. And she goes, no. And then I said, what about if I use my little microphone, interview style? I could walk up to people and ask them one specific question about importance, because importance is probably the first topic I'm going to start off with. And I'll dive down deep into it. And I could use a microphone. That way they know that I'm videotaping them and that I'm going to be asking them questions and talking to them. And she goes, no. That's going to scare people off. They're not going to feel comfortable being on camera. And they might feel like when they answer that their answer is going to have to sound better than what they're really thinking or what they really feel. Okay, so we kind of nix that one off the list for now. So I'm in this massive brainstorming mode. And again, I just decided that as I go through these different stages, I'm going to start videotaping my thoughts and what I'm going through to try to figure this whole thing out. But I'm going to keep plugging away. I'm not giving up on this, man, no matter what. I don't care how crazy, how difficult it gets. I'm just going to push. And but I'm going to follow the advice that I've heard from a lot of big YouTubers and a lot of different YouTubers. Is just start making videos, start publishing them over and over and improve as you go. That's that one. I know it's right. So that's what I'm going to do. But at the same time, I don't have to start with absolute junk. So I already created a video. I published a couple little cheesy things with another camera rig that I don't think was the best way to start, especially for somebody that didn't really have any camera skills, video skills, besides doing a couple of things on his phone throughout life. But to actually do that for the purpose of creating YouTube videos, yeah, pretty much little skill, zero skill. Had to learn about white balance, shutter speed, and frame rate, and low light conditions killed me, man. Wiped me out. Anyways, got another camera rig here. I love it. Starting to pick it up. Started playing around with DaVinci Resolve. Another YouTuber says you could use iMovie if you got a Mac. It's really easy. It's free. I mean, I went through all of that stuff, trying to figure out how am I gonna actually edit the videos, how much editing is required, I went through all that. So it's coming together. The important thing is don't be afraid of the pain. Just stay focused on if your goal and what you desire is absolutely true, then you just keep beating your way through it. So that's what I'm gonna do. but I decided along the way, I'm going to record my thoughts and talk about what I'm going through and some of the decisions to make this stuff happen. So we'll get there. Just got to keep plugging away. Go, go, go. Okay, after about 10 minutes of thought, I realized that I should provide a little information about what decisions I made and where I'm at. So let me try to run through some basic decisions. As far as my content, decision's been made. It's locked in. Because my wife and I are now retired and we're traveling around multiple different countries in Southeast Asia, I'm going to provide some vlogging style. I'm not a big, I don't know, I realize I'm not a huge sightseeing type person where I'm just going to go around to all the biggest and best sites that are most popular and everything on purpose, meaning that's not what my blogging is going to be about. My day-to-day life blogging is going to be more about people, culture, maybe interesting, fun things that are a little bit different that I think people around the world might be interested in. So that'll be one playlist on the same channel, and then a separate playlist is going to be on the primary reason why I'm doing a YouTube, and that's just to share a lot of tips and techniques on, I call it mindset reframing. I looked it up. I learned later on that if you want to get more technical, it falls under the category of cognitive reframing, just meaning thinking a little differently, seeing things from different points of view and different perspectives. And my end goal is to help people think more clear, how to challenge the way we think, how to challenge the definitions of words and redefine them, create our own personal libraries in our heads. Anything that's ultimately going to make us think a little bit more easily and more effectively, that's going to make us feel more peaceful, make us feel more balanced with energy, and how to provide ourselves relief. Also, how to make decisions more quickly. That area. So I call it mindset reframing. So there'll be a separate playlist for that. And as far as equipment goes, so I started off with the Insta360 X4. I watched the videos and it's like, oh my God, you could do so much cool stuff, so many features. It is an amazing, amazing camera for a little tiny small portable camera. I went with that and I quickly learned, especially in low light conditions, it's extra challenging. And I realized that, okay, now equipment is going to be my major roadblock. So my second choice originally was the Osmo Pocket 3. And I ended up ordering that and going with it and trying it out. The learning curve to get good quality videos was so much lower for me personally. So now I'm trying to sell my Insta360 X4. If I can't sell it for a decent price, maybe I'll hang on to it and use it for B-roll or something like that. I honestly don't see myself in the beginning using it that much. The Osmo Pocket 3, you can go on YouTube and get the basic settings, and it is such an amazing camera for YouTubing. I can't even explain. It is, it's number one, especially small portability and things like that when you are traveling. There is a couple of Sony mirrorless cameras that, as far as when it comes to portability, probably give you the best low light dynamic filming. But it looks like a bigger, bulkier camera. It's a little bit heavier. It's getting into like true film grade capability. I'm guessing there's a little tiny more learning curve, but my go-to that I would recommend for any YouTubers getting started is Osmo Pocket 3 right out of the gate, no questions asked. I've done a little bit of research on possibly using the iPhone, this and that, and all that other kind of stuff, and Osmo Pocket 3, especially now that I have it and I've been using it, it's number one all day long. As far as video editing goes, I considered a lot of things. Obviously, we're trying to keep the cost down as low as possible. What I ended up with, pretty sure, is what I ended up with, what I'm going to stick with. The learning curve is a little tiny bit higher, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to grow with me. It has a collaboration feature to where if I ever need some help working on videos, I can extend it out and collaborate with other people around the world where they can edit them for me through the collaboration feature. It works on so many different things. You can make your thumbnails, you can do animation, you can do just about anything. The color grading is absolutely incredible. And it has a free version that I'm gonna guess does 90% of everything, which for starting YouTubers, you can almost say it's way overkill. The capabilities of that free online software application are absolutely insane. And I guess one of the last driving decision makers for going with that, at least that's what I'm currently planning on going with, is that because it's free and it's so powerful, I have to assume that it's being used worldwide by a lot of people. And again, if I ever have to collaborate or communicate or share anything with other people to work on, there's just going to be a lot of people out there that know how to use it and use it well. And it's not limited by device, whether you got a Mac or a PC or anything. So decided to go with DaVinci. It's called DaVinci Resolve. You watch a few videos on how to do different things. You do the minimum of what you need to do to get started, and you learn as you go. I'm still brainstorming and trying to figure out the format of my videos and the style and the techniques and all this other kind of stuff. On one hand, I want to keep it very natural to where it's not prepared, it's not staged. But on the other hand, I'm fighting with this idea, am I going to need visual animations and visual graphics and things like that to help communicate some of these abstract ideas? And that I think is just going to be a development over time that I'm just going to have to test and work on. So that's pretty much where I'm at. So you're not going to always see me in a bunch of fancy, super cool looking places like on the beach or near some pristine sightseeing location or something like that. It could be just out on the street, you know, anywhere I can find a place to talk without too many interruptions, and also where I can meet and talk to other people without too many interruptions so we can have actual conversations. So that's where I'm at.